Thank you. Yeah, when I created the slides, I thought, oh, this is the perfect length. And whenever I give talks on ethics and bias, it always runs over because there's just so much to talk about and all these nuances that I think are really important. But I'm so glad that I didn't go too much over.
I think you've managed to do both. The slides were perfectly designed, so they are helpful as they are, but the way that you presented all the concepts were super clear. This is probably one of these presentations I really enjoyed in AI because it's not also technical, but the examples that you have used, I have seen them, but when you use them in this way, it was super helpful. So great job, Jessie.
Thank you. I'm glad it was helpful.
I'd like to invite everyone to just give a brief check-in of what industry you are in and what biases do you see in the industry that you're working in or with. Do you want to? I can start. I'm a student at Hyper Island and also a startup in food. I also have a startup in food tech. And the AI biases that we see is mostly in determining the supply chain. It's always the same. The data is historical, so it's not very inclusive with everyone. So yeah, we're working on that. I'd like to pass the ball to you, Medin. I can see you unmuted here now.
Really quick, I'm going to jump between rooms, so don't mind me if I hop out.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not in the AI scene, but I'm interested in studying ethical AI. We're actually working on an application related to responsible AI. So I really wanted to understand how it works and what the key contributions are so far. So I'm here to really learn about what people are talking about within this topic. So I'm not a technical person. I'm in the business school actually. You have.
Are you here, Satyajit? Do you want to give your views?
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it was a nice presentation. So actually, I have one question. So can I ask?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So actually, my question was slightly towards the interpretability of the black box. The model, which AI systems typically use. So, is it? Explainability and interpretability is the same thing for the AI systems, or it is different? This is my question.
Are you asking? I'm hearing is explainability and
interpretability.
I think it isn't. Like she said, it's not mutually exclusive, any of them, but it is interlinked. But it's not the same thing in my perspective, because explainability, as she rightly pointed out, is more broader and more on the end user perspective of is the use case oriented according to just the deployment of the AI system, or is it is it oriented according to the users? And I think interpretation is more throughout the process of building an AI system. But what do you think? Why do you think it is similar?
Yeah, actually, I was just working on one of the explainable AI projects. So recently working on that. So I thought this session would be helpful for me as well, because also there is a lot of ethics involved in that, because in the data collection process and all. So I think what you are saying is right. I mean, maybe interpretability means. I mean, what I understand is that a basic model of ML where you can easily explain through different. I mean, the coefficients and all. For example, a simple decision tree, maybe simple linear regressions where you can easily interpret using their coefficients. So that is interpretability for ML models. But when it comes to explainability, we talk little higher. We talk more of, I mean, the deep learning techniques where you apply different neural networks. So where explainability matters a lot because you are not able to explain the model because it's a black box. You don't know how they are converting from input to output and how they are coming up with decisions. So this is my take on this.
What model are we talking about? What industry are you referring to? Just to get some perspective.
Yeah, actually, can you come again? There is an aeroplane going on, so I can't hear you. So can you?
What industry are you referring to in terms of the model you're working with? Just
Are
to
you
get
talking
some
about me?
Yeah.
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 Actually, I'm just working on for one of the. There is one project related with hydropower project where they are just trying to understand how different impact of you know say what you say the water intake and all. So I mean how we are going to explain that the factors which are affecting the water intake at the dam. So this is the project which I am working on, and this is more of a geographical information systems domain, GIS.
All right. I wanted to pose a question to both of you in the room because both of you mentioned that its ethics is very important going on. Why do you think it's important? Like, why is fairness in AI important to you?
Fairness
Like,
in
have you
AI, yeah.
at the end of it?
Fairness, I think when you are designing any AI systems, I mean, it's a human. I think what I understand, I mean, till now, whatever project I have worked on designing the AI systems, I just felt that it's a human who are responsible for bringing bias to the model. It's a human, right? So whatever biases, I mean, today was talked about in you know this session was more of a humans. Their biasness are more in the AI systems. So there should be fairness. I mean, whenever you are providing a loan to a particular person, right? So at that time, you should be fair enough. It should not you should not discriminate based on race, gender, maybe their work class, whether they are a private citizen or working in a government or something like that. So whenever you are designing any AI systems, I think it's better to take care of all the discriminatory variables, maybe the features which are responsible for categorizing any citizens or coming up with any class, whether you want to give loan to particular person or not. So that is why fairness should be there. So that then only you can build a trust among your stakeholders and for your and client you can say or and users or customers you can say. So it's a good to have fairness while designing AI systems.
Interesting. I have actually another question because I can only reflect on what you guys are saying. I mean, AI system is like any other innovation, I think. So its benefit should outweigh the harm most of the time, right? So if you cannot kind of explain or if you cannot develop the knowledge about ethical AI, the harm is going to outweigh at the end of the day anyways. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is actually about the people who develop these AI systems. Do you think a diverse team of developers, for example, someone who is, let's say, gender-wise, race-wise, if that right balance or a right diversity would reduce the harm in developing these AI systems?
So this question is, you are asking this question to me?
Yeah, to both of you. Yes, to kind of
I think
reflect.
if Riddhi can answer, I think it's better
Yeah.
Riddhi can answer.
I can give my perspective to it. I feel that is one way where you can definitely mitigate it, is for people who are creating and inputting the data. Those people should definitely have a diverse representation. Like the board should have a representation that is diverse, because then they will be able to give insights into something that is otherwise being looked over because of like cultural differences, gender differences, color differences, and all of them. So that is, I think, is one powerful way, but I don't think that is limited, because it's. I feel it's also important to gather data from a subset of people that are that is diverse. So I don't think it is. I don't think it is individually as powerful as compared to make sure there's diversity and representation in the data, as well as the people creating these algorithms, and even like the testing and the users. I think it's diversity in the entire product of it all. So that's how I see it. But I definitely think that representation is important in the algorithm creation part of it as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, forgive me if this is a very basic question, but when you say about availability of data, so you're talking about when the designers are training the system, they should use diverse data.
Yes, a data subset that is not like Jesse mentioned, in terms of like in terms of like the LinkedIn that every it was one who was more aggressive, and that was basically men. And I think within that, like if they can definitely bring in data that is not biased, and then you're bringing in data in terms of your entire journey, that would help me heal. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So you were saying something. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, for example, in the example of LinkedIn, what could they have done differently if they were using the data? What kind of data were they supposed to, for example, use to reduce that that bias? I don't have any clue about these things, so it might be very elementary.
The training, like you put weights to your what factors would you give to make sure that the candidate is the best.
Sorry, Riddhi, I'm just stopping here. Yeah. The window says the breakout rooms will close in 29 seconds.
So I'm gonna ask. I'd say like probably give less weightage to aggression and more to competence. Is my way. But Satyajit, I would like you to say like the last few words which you were gonna on what he asked right now is the question.
There is a 15 seconds, then breakout room will close, or what is this? I'm just trying to know.
Yeah, we'll go back to the main room now.
Okay, so then
thank you so much, Riddhi. Yeah.
Thank you, Riddhi.
I didn't want to interrupt right at the end of your sentence there. Sorry.
That's all good. Sorry, we know the time is limited and this is such a big topic. I am sure we will come in